In the headlines, terrorists kill one, abduct 8 in Kaduna as security challenges persist. Doctors fault federal government's ban on leave of absence. Chibok community seeks return of 87 schoolgirls still in captivity 10 years after abduction. On the foreign scene, Liberians commemorate their dead 10 years after Ebola. Hello and welcome to the news update. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining. And now the news in detail. Terrorists on Tuesday night launched another attack on Banono Akwagu local government in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, killing one Christopher Zamani, injuring another person and abducting 8 persons. A resident of the local government, Dauda Manyu, who confirmed the incident, said the terrorists also stole money, 2 motorcycles, food items and other valuables. He said they invaded the village around 10 p.m. and the attack came barely 48 hours after 61 villagers were abducted in both the community of the same Kajuru local government area. Kajuru and Chokun local government areas had in recent times become the hotbed for kidnapping, causing tension in the state. 7 dead bodies of passengers, including 5 women, a man and a baby, have been found in a forest after an attack on an 18-seater passenger bus in Taraba State. The passengers were traveling in a Selo mass transit bus from Zakibiam in Benue State to Mehula in Ba local government area of Taraba State on Tuesday when the incident happened. The unknown assailants, suspected to be a local vigilante group, attacked the bus at Gampwe village located at Marabam Baisa in Dongo local government area of the state. The driver of the bus, Jimen Angera, who escaped the scene of the incident with machete cuts, said the attackers in their numbers were carrying guns, machetes and other light weapons. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, Taraba State Command David Iloyomon, now confirmed that his men found 7 bodies and the passenger, who was initially thought to be kidnapped, in the bush within the area while on patrol to contain the crisis between Ichen and Tiv ethnic groups in the state. 9 suspected fake soldiers have been paraded by the 81 Division of the Nigerian Army. They were arrested at various places in Lagos and environs, putting on military camouflage. Parading the suspect at the 81 Division headquarters, spokesman of the division, Lieutenant Colonel Olaleko Ayeni, said the General Officer commanding 81 Division has resolved to flush out all elements given the Army bad names in and around the area of its supervision. Reports say one of the suspects, Ms. Vivian Titus, is said to have been paraded up to 7 times for the same offense. Some of the fake soldiers narrated their level of involvement in the allegations leveled against them.
Okay, you were escorting a vehicle. But why did you desert in the first place and then you want to wear the uniform? Okay, you are dismissed. But you still love the job. Yes. Why don't you go through the proper channel to come back?
Still processing it.
Okay, they're still processing it. So do you feel any remorse of what you did?
I feel very bad.
Now, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors and the joint health sector unions have faulted the federal government's ban on the issuance of leave of absence to health professionals going abroad. NARD and Johesu said federal government should rather address the pull factors making health workers migrate abroad in search of greener pastures, a trend popularly called Jakba. The president of NARD, Dele Abdullahi, and the national chairman of Johesu, Kabiru Minjabet, said the directives by the government was a knee-jerk and fire brigade approach to addressing brain drain in the country. The Minister of State for Health, Tunji Alausa, had last Saturday revealed that the government directed that health workers going abroad to seek greener pastures must henceforth resign the appointment before embarking on search journeys. Alausa said the era of health workers moving to other countries in search of better offers after applying for a leave of absence is no longer acceptable. The Nigerian Labour Congress on Wednesday expressed anger over the failure of about 90% of states, that is about 30 states, in paying the wage award as agreed by federal government and the organized labor. The NLC said this as pensioners who retired from the Federal Civil Service threatened to embark on a nationwide protest following the failure of the government to pay their wage award. Labor leaders in Sokoto, Kano, Benue and Bayelsa State said their state governments have not paid their wage award, while Gombe, Ogun and Osun were paying 15,000 naira or 10,000 naira. The NLC Assistant General Secretary, NLC, Chris Onyeka, said state governors jettisoned negotiations as they unilaterally gave workers 10,000 naira without any negotiation. Civil society and right groups have lambasted the Accountant General of the Federation, Commissioners of Finance of the 36 states of the Federation and other government officials for choosing to hold a workshop in the United Kingdom at a time when the economy is experiencing a major downturn. The office of the AGF reportedly held a workshop in public financial management and international public sector accounting standards in London, the United Kingdom. And findings show that the workshop was held at a hotel in London from March 4 to March 9, 2024. The workshop, titled Public Financial Management and IPS-AS, brought together state commissioners of finance and officials from the office of the Accountant General of the Federation. However, some Nigerians and rights groups have criticized the AGF and the commissioners for being insensitive to the mood of the nation, saying such a workshop should have been held within the country to save caste. A human rights group, the International Society for Social Justice and Human Rights, described the travel embarked upon by the office of the AGF as needless and a waste of the country's financial resources. Nearly a decade after the abduction of 276 female students at government secondary school in Chibok, a local government area in Borno State, families of the remaining 87 captives have remained hopeful they will regain freedom and return to the community. This was disclosed by a spokesperson of the affected community, Alan Manasseh, while paying tribute during the 76th birthday of Pastor Chinedu Ezekwesili. While giving an update on the matter, Manasseh disclosed that nothing has been heard of the remaining 87 schoolgirls. The students of government girls' secondary school in Chibok, Borno State, were kidnapped by Boko Haram insurgents on April 14, 2014. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has sealed two unregistered water packaging companies for allegedly operating without approval in the Ota area of Ogun State. The state coordinator NAFDAC Ogun office, Philip Beno, said on Thursday in Ota after the exercise that the two companies failed to meet NAFDAC requirements for registration. Beno said the raid and enforcement were based on routine inspection by regulatory officers in the Ogun office in Ota. He said that the facilities of the two companies were placed on hold with NAFDAC seal while the companies were invited to the office for scrutiny when they were found operating without approval early in the year. Beno added that at the time of the first inspection, there was nobody on ground to warrant immediate arrest for questioning at both facilities. He said despite the seal placed and letters of invitation dropped for the two companies to visit the NAFDAC office in Ota, they remained adamant and went ahead to remove the seals placed at the entrances of both companies. The NAFDA state coordinator further said that 2 companies resumed production of the unregistered water products with fake NAFDA registration numbers, operating in a dirty and unhygienic environment. You're still watching the news update. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at the residents wanting government to address farmers' herders conflict. Details of this report and more after the break. To join us again. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is a news update. A look at our main stories again. We told you earlier that terrorists killed 1, abduct 8 in Kaduna. Security challenges persist. And the doctors fought federal government's ban on leave of absence. Moving on to more stories now. Oyo State government on Wednesday demolished scores of structures in Ibadan, the state capital. The demolition, which began at Fashade community on Tuesday along Secular Road, will affect about 12 villages in the Onara local government area of the state. And a community leader in one of the affected areas, Abdul Fattah Abumiko, said about 500 houses have been demolished. Moving on to Benue State now. The period preceding rain season sees farmers preparing the land for cultivation. Recall that many farmers have been displaced from the ancestral farmlands by herdsmen and militant groups. With herders still grazing freely on the land, Benue farmers feel Governor Hyacinth Alia is not doing enough to secure their farmland. Zimia Zande has more in this report.
There is an atmosphere of fear following the surge of attacks on farming communities by suspected herders in Benue State. Some residents of the state say Governor Hyacinth Alia has so far not demonstrated the political will to solve the farmer herders crisis, which is a major concern for Benue farmers.
There are 2 major aspects. The aspect of governance and the aspect of politics. So whoever emerges a leader must try to balance between the political interplays and then the governance of the state. And you are aware that what benefits the masses is governance, not the political aspect of it. So the problem now is that, in trying to balance up, the governor of the state, for instance, will have to try to bridge the gap between governance and politics.
While acknowledging security as everyone's business, the residents are also calling on herders to embrace the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law.
I've learned in 60s, 70s, you will see a Fulani man will come to Benue State, a dry season like this time around, with his whole family. But this time around, the one that came in, they are below 30 years, and nobody is having a wife. And they will come in the midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So that is suspicious, very suspicious.
Some of our key persons who are religious leaders don't want to talk about for reasons that we may understand. Our political leaders are also resistant talking about climate change because they seem to fear that if they emphasize the impact of climate change, there are traditional arguments against or in favor of the farmer herder issues may have to be modified, and they are not happy with the modifications.
While a few peasant farmers are clearing their lands close to urban or semi-urban settlements, the majority of the farmers cannot access their farmlands for fear of being attacked. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The federal government has initiated a move to transition Nigerian Railway Corporation locomotives from diesel to liquefied natural gas and compressed natural gas in a bid to steer the corporation towards sustainable energy sources and reduce operational cost. The Director of Press and Public Relations, the Ministry of Transportation, Olujimi Oyetomi, disclosed this in a statement on Thursday. And according to the statement, the move is part of President Tinubu's desire to provide Nigerians with efficient, affordable and sustainable transportation given the recent removal of subsidy on fuel. On Tuesday, March 12, 2024, the DSADAL Consortium presented the NLG CNG alternative for joint deliberation by the Ministry of Transportation and the NRC at the ministry's headquarters. To expedite the process, the ministry directed the immediate formation of a 7-member technical committee tasked with evaluating the visibility and potential outcomes of retrofitting NRC's locomotives with LNG CNG technology. The committee was given 7 to 14 days to come up with recommendations. We'll go on a quick break, but the news will continue shortly. Stay with us.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify.
But there are people who say not spending money is not a bad thing.
I'm coming. Let me finish.
Because there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent development shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No. It's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its higher horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for them, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Now to the rest of the news, but this time away from Nigeria, Liberian citizens on Wednesday observed the 10th anniversary of Ebola epidemic that ravaged the country. On the second Wednesday of March each year, the country observed National Decoration Day, a time where Liberians gather at various cemeteries to commemorate their departed relatives. This year's observance brought relatives to Disco Hill Safe Burial Site in Magebe County to mourn the victims of Ebola. The healthcare coordinator at the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, Jefferson Danlo, said about 4,500 bodies of victims and the ashes of those who were cremated were placed at the site. A total of 4,810 persons died in Liberia when the virus hit, according to Centers for Disease Control, DCD. Liberia became the third country to report that the Ebola virus disease had spread into the country from neighboring Guinea. There was a sharp increase in cases in Monrovia, Liberia's capital city. Before December 2014, Liberia was one of the countries that was affected the most by the virus.
We saw peaceful and sorrowful day today. Because right now, as I said, a Philippine or two, I not saw him when he was sick. But today, come decorating his grave today, paying respect to his grave today, it looks sorrow and painful to me.
She was my everything. She read me, she sent me to school. But then when I reached senior high level, she passed off, and I know how it takes. So my father, so those who lost their loved one during the Ebola crisis, she take heart God know everything. He gave life and He have a solution for everybody on earth.
Kids come and the kids from the neighborhood come. But the kids who were in the orphanage, quite a few of them, at least the last time we came, had lost parents who were buried here.
And 2 people died and another 2 were injured when an Mi-8 helicopter crashed in Russia's Magadan region on Thursday, local media reported. The Mi-8 helicopter was transporting 20 workers from one of the mines in Magadan region when it crashed. The incident occurred while the helicopter made a hard landing 75 kilometers from Ivansk, a city situated in Magadan Oblast in Russia's far east. 2 rescued helicopters from Kolyva Aviation were dispatched to the crash site, and another from Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations was expected to arrive soon. Now in sports, no fewer than 600 persons have applied for the widely advertised Super Eagles and Golden Eaglets coaching position recently by the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF). Almost a fortnight ago, the NFF declared the Super Eagles head coach position vacant after Portuguese coach Jose Peseiro officially left the post at the end of last month after guiding the Nigeria's national men's team to a second-place finish at the African Cup of Nations. Aside the vacant Super Eagles managerial position, the NFF equally declared vacant the coaching position of national under-17 team, last held by former Nigerian international defender Nduka Ogbade. Reports said so far, the NFF has received hundreds of applications for both jobs, adding that the Federation's technical committee would soon begin proper screening of the applications. Still in sport, concerns about the hot climatic condition in the country at the moment, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has moved the kickoff time for the Falcons versus Bayana match from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the MKO Abiola National Stadium here in Abuja. NFF's Director of Competitions, Ruth David, disclosed this on Thursday. The game, which is the opening leg of the fixture that would determine which of the 2 teams will be one of the Africa's 2 flag bearers at this year's Women's Olympic Football Tournament in France, was initially scheduled to start at 4 p.m. on Friday, 5th April. Also, South African Football Association has now chosen the Loftus Versfeld Stadium in Pretoria for the return leg on Tuesday, 9th April. The encounter will commence at 7:30 p.m. South African time and 6:30 p.m. Nigerian time. The Sacramento Kings survived the late LeBron James surge to secure a 120-107 win over the Los Angeles Lakers. James, who scored 9 of his 18 points in the final quarter, was unable to prevent the Kings moving 3 games ahead of Lakers in the Western Conference playoff race. Damantas Sabonis starred for the Kings with 17 points, 19 rebounds and 10 assists for a league-high 23rd triple-double of the season, while Harrison Barnes top scored for his side with 23 points. We have come to the end of the news update at this hour. Do not forget to follow our YouTube live stream for more news, programming and documentaries. On behalf of the news crew, thank you for watching. My name is Martia Umar. Stay tuned.